It's time. And how did you have any other sayings before that?
No, the only trademark I dealt with before that was "Let's Get Ready to Rumble," which is Michael Buffer's own trademark. And as his manager, I've been working on that. So I was never trademark driven. I didn't even develop its time until probably about, I'd say 7, 8 years into my announcing. And when I did, I didn't trademark it at first. Most announcers think you have to have a trademark, a phrase. I was never phrase driven. To me, it's not what I say, it's how I say it is the big thing for me. And I'm much more, I would say I'm probably more passionate when I perform or when I announce than most announcers, with all respect to other announcers and all the fine jobs they do, but they concentrate on their voice and they're standing there in one spot. I have to move. I've got to let it all fly. Like I said, I used to bang. I know what it's like to fight, and I want to introduce the fighters the way I would want to be introduced. I never rehearse. I just get in there and do it, whether I jump, I turn, or whatever I decide to do when I'm doing it, or get in the fighters' faces if they're egging me on. I never instigate a fist bump. They instigate that with me, which is an honor. But when it's time took off, and I went to a show, we did the first show back in Brazil in 2003. We went back to Brazil. And when I did It's Time, the entire audience in the stadium, about 20,000 Portuguese speaking people, said, "It's time" with me. Right. And when I got out of the octagon, I thought, oh my God, what was that? Immediately went through the trademark process and got a trademark.
Was that one of your favorite arenas?
Yes, but Brazilians, as well as Canadians, as well as recently last weekend with the UK, they're rabid fans. Not that they aren't here in the United States, but 20,000 Portuguese sound like 100,000 people, as they do in the UK. And I can't even walk down the streets. They're jumping out of cars, wanting to take pictures of me and stuff like that, because we're as popular as soccer down there. And the same thing happens when I go to certain places. It's hard for me to walk around, which I'm honored by. It's all great. It's like being Elvis Presley for the weekend.
That's awesome. Do you have any specific arenas that you enjoy just based off of the acoustics of the arena and not just the fans?
Yeah, sure. No, the T-Mobile in Vegas is great. The O2 in Montreal, the O2 in London, they're fantastic. They really are. Some I can hear myself better, so I can modulate better in some of the arenas. But every city, every arena has its own flavor, and I just respect and appreciate it wherever I'm at. Make the best of it. We've had arenas in Brazil where they're literally kicking out the homeless before we go in, and it's pretty crappy in its own way, but it all makes up for it when the show begins and everybody's going crazy.
How are some of your experiences? I know you've done a lot of pregame warm-ups for the Las Vegas Raiders. How's doing some of those announcements? I know you did the first game on Monday Night Football. I think a few games that me and Lisa went to, your trademark "It's Time" at the beginning of you're getting everybody pumped up for 70,000.
It's amazing. You walk out on the dais where they have me do that at Allegiant Stadium, and you're high up, and I forget how many people in the arena, 70, 80,000. And I'm on the Videotrons all around. It's an amazing experience. It really is. They say I make the hair stand up on their arms. I make the hair stand up on my own arms. Really? That way I know I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get a UFC at Allegiant Stadium soon?
I can't answer that. I'm not the powers that be. It would have to be one heck of a show to fill that arena. I know there was talk about being at Texas Stadium down in Dallas and doing it there. I'm sure putting together the right show, it would get packed. We've rarely, if ever, maybe once or twice been outside. It's always been inside. So it'd be an incredible experience, but I'm not the one to ask that. That's a call to Dana White.